We are here for basic math. You can find all the lessons on A plus students. You have to log into the using your email address and password of the verified administrator. Then you have to select math from such a tab. Scroll down to basic math and then click on the all lessons. Where you can find the list of the chapters where you want to start with each chapter. Write a linear function from a table. Compare linear functions, graph tables, and equations. Write linear functions, word problems, and interpret linear functions. So please make sure you have your book and pencil so that you can write down the important examples and definitions as well. So here I'm on grade 8 math. Chapter we on right now is functions. Let's just start with the lesson that is write a linear function from a table. Fill in the missing number to complete the equation that gives the value for the table. So you are given the table, you are given the x values and y values. You need to write down the equation. The equation you need to write down is in the form y equals mx b. So you need to find the m and the b. The m is the slope, right? The slope is change in y divided by change in x, right? So 68, 1 is 69, 69 plus 1 is 70, and 17 plus 1 is 70. 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. So the values are changing by 1. So the slope is changing by divided by change in x. So the slope is 1. Now we need to find the value of p. How do we find use any pair of value and the value m? For example, here in the example, the values used are 0 and 68. Y is 68, m is 1, x is 0. So p equals 68. The equation is y equals 1 x plus 68, or either it is y equals x plus 68. So the correct option is x plus 68. The correct option is x plus 68. Okay, let's just start with the test questions. Fill in the missing number to complete the linear equation that gives a rule for this table. So you need to write down the equation. So we need to find two things, the slope and the v. 5 equals x plus. So 0 plus 7 is 7, 7 plus 7 is 14, 14 plus 7 is 28, 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is. The slope is changing y to the return, changing x to the slope is 7. Now we need to find the value of b. Going to use a pair of values that is 0, 0, y is 0, n is 7, x is 0 plus b. So b is the equation is y equals 7x plus 0. Right here, that is y equals 7x. Option number 1 is the correct option. Let's just start with the test questions. That is y equals 7x. Option number 1 is the correct option. Which equations give the rule for this table? That is y equals mx plus b. So let's just look at how the value get changing. So changing y is 1 and changing x is also 1. So that means the slope is 1. Y equals x plus b. Now you need to find the p using any pair of them. 0 and x is 0. Y is negative 3 plus b. B equals you don't need to find the p. B is the y intercept, right? So then x is 0, the y-intercept. X is 0, y is 90, right? Equals x plus 90. Option number 2 is the right option. Option number 2 is the correct option. Which equation gives the rules of stable? So which is the correct option? The slope is 1, right? Because that's value in y and we're changing y. Y equals mx plus y equals 1x plus 1. Y is 0, x is 1. B equals negative 1. So y equals x minus 1 c. Second option. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is y equals x minus 1. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself. Take it away. Let me just move on to the next lesson. The next lesson is The next lesson is compare linear functions, graph tables, and equations. Function A and function B are linear functions. Which statement is true? So the slope of function A is 2, right? And the slope of function B is 5. That means the slope of function A is less than slope of function B. Let's just start with the test questions. Function A and function B are linear functions. Which statement is true? The statement is about slopes. Let's just find the slopes. The slope of function A is n equals to B, and the slope of function B is 1. So that means the slope of function A is greater than slope of function B. Slope of function A is different slope of function B. Option 1 is the correct option. So function A and function B. The slope of function B is n equals 5, and the slope of function A is 3. That means slope of function A is less than slope of function B. Slope of function A is less than slope of function B. Option 2 is the correct option. Function A and function B are linear functions. So the slope of function A is N equals 5 and the ratio equals 2. So which is the correct option? So the slope of function A is different slope of function B. Option number one is the correct option. The function A has the slope 1 and the slope of function B is E. That means slope of function A is less than slope of function B. Option number B is the correct option. The slope of function A is less than slope of function B. Function A and function B are linear functions. The slope of function A is 2. The slope of function B is 5. Slope of function A is less than slope of function B. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself today. Let me just the next lesson. The next lesson is linear function word problems. Let's just start with the test questions. One can go through plots with every single get right equation that shows the relationship between the first impacted X and the total number of points provided. So option number one is the correct option because we can go through terms with every seed packet access the seed packet and prove the balance we can. Option number one is the correct option. That is why it's because Jyoti buys two postcards during each day of vacation. Right? And equation that shows the relationship between the days of vacation and the number of postcards for the So which is the correct option? That is why it goes to exception number two is the correct. Shem needs two books each month as part of his book club. Write an equation that shows the relationship between the months. Examine the total books read. The correct option is option number one. That is why those figures. The receptionist named Meera spends 2 minutes looking each incoming phone calls. Write an equation that shows the relationship between the phone calls to get X and the minutes on the phone Y. That is Y equals 2X. Option number Y is the correct option. Judging runs 2 miles daily each track practice. Write an equation that shows the relationship between the practices x and the distance y. So which is the correct option? Option number 3 is the correct option. That is y equals to x. Vivian learns two new appetizers recipes during each week of culinary school. Write an equation that shows the relationship between the number of weeks x and the number of appetizers recipes y. That is y equals 2x. Option number 3 is the correct option. Answer takes two quizzes each week. Write an equation that shows the relationship between the number of weeks x and the total number of pages y. So which is the correct option? That is y equals 2x. Option number 1 is the correct option. And as a retirement party costs $2 for every guest she invites. Write an equation that shows the relationship between the guest x and the cost y. That is y equals 2x. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself for today. Let me just move on to the next lesson. The next lesson is intricate linear functions. Let's just start with the test questions. The equation shows how least calorie consumption is related to the number of snacks she eats. The variable S represents the number of snacks she eats, and the variable C represents the calories she consumes. After eating a total of one snack, how many calories will Lee have consumed in all? So one snack. S represents the snack, so C equals 20 times 1. So the correct option is 20. Option number 1 is the correct option, that is 20 calories. This equation shows how the accuracy of dating watch is related to how long it's been since he last said it. The variable D represents the number of days passed since Nathan last sent his watch, and the variable S represents that how many seconds behind the watch is. How far behind is dating the watch if we last set it 4 days ago? Is for 13 plus 4 is 17 seconds. Option number 2 is the correct option. This equation shows how the total number of pieces Lacey has learned depends on the number of weeks she has taken piano lessons. P equals W. The variable W represents the number of weeks she has taken piano lessons, and the variable P represents the total number of pieces she has learned after 11 weeks of piano lessons. How many total pieces will Leslie be about to play? That is W equals 11. So P equals W, so that is also 11. This equation shows how the cost of our corporate team building event depends on the number of attendees. P equals 4, A, the variable A represents the variable A represents the number of attendees, and the variable B represents the cost in dollars. If there are 4 attendees, how much will the corporate team building event cost? So D equals 4 times 4, that is 16. Option number 1 is the correct option, that is 16. That is 6 pieces. Option number 2 is the correct option. This equation shows how the total number of answer recipes Walter Lewis depends on the number of weeks we attend current school. A equals W plus 1. Mhm. And 1. 20 appetizer recipes. Option W is incorrect. That equals 18 kilograms. Option W is the correct option. That is 18 kilograms. Option 1 correct option. This equation shows how the total gross revenues destined by the number of days she spent on vacation. So S equals O. The correct option is 4 of news option, but it is the correct option. Usually you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on a grade 1. Chapter we were working on is linear functions. The lessons we have covered today are write a linear function from a table, compare linear function from a table, graphs, tables, and equations, write linear function for problems, and interpret linear functions. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons you just did. That is your homework until session. So if you have help with any of the lessons, you can simply respond to the chat button. The tutors are available there to help you. Or either you can write down the question and here to answer all your questions completely. So any questions? No questions? Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye.